That's 100.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Heavenly Just Heavily, and we are going to dive right in. As you guys can see, I already braided my hair back. This is a step that you do, especially when you're trying to do wig installs. You braid your hair back just so that your install can be super flat. And right here, I'm just brushing my edges back using the Got2b glue, and I'm making sure that my edges are out of the way, so when I install my wig, the glue doesn't get stuck to my hair and I'm not balding. So a lot of the times people don't really like using the ball cap method anymore, but I'm one of the people who do. I prefer using the ball cap method. You don't have to, but this is just something that I do. And here I'm just blowing my edges, making sure that it's dry, so that when I do go to lay my wig and lay my cap down, that it's not sticking. So this usually takes me about 10 to 15 minutes because I want my edges to be really dry and just, you know, they stay and they're not in the way when I go to installing my wig. This really isn't a tutorial. I'm just really showing you guys how I install my wig and just giving you details along the way. So I wouldn't say this is really a tutorial, but yeah. And so once you guys just pull your ball cap down, you're just gonna cut both tabs by your ears. And you just want to make sure that, like I said before, when you're doing your wig, you just really want to make sure that everything is laid and everything stays in place, so that when you're going to install your wig, it's not sliding back, you know, it's not slipping, it's not getting caught in anything, especially when you're dealing with glue or gels, you know, it can get in the way. So you just want to make sure that everything stays and everything is tucked away in its rightful places. So here I'm just using the Ebin spray. I don't really know how to pronounce it. Ebin or Ebin spray in the red can. You are more than welcome to use any holding spray you would like, but personally for me, I like the Ebin brand. It has become very popular, so I like using this one because it stays and it's just perfect for my hair. So yeah, this is what I do. I usually just spray around the perimeter of my edges, and I use my fingers to rub it in really good so that I know where I'm putting it and I know where I'm placing it, and it's just along my hairline but not exactly in my hair, so that when I go to, you know, cut it, that it's just around the perimeter of my hair. And then next up, I just take my blow dryer and I use a cool high setting for this. Look at me. And I just spray around, dry the perimeter of my hair in the spray so that it's dry. Because when you're going to install your hair, especially when you're putting makeup on your ball cap, you don't want it to be wet, because then it'll just get messy. It can get real messy real fast. So just make sure that you're spraying it. Usually this takes me about like 20 to 25 minutes because I really want it to dry and get that like a clear looking color. So this takes me a little while, and I just do this around my hair on each side just so, you know, it's dry. And then after it's finally dry, I cut the ball cap, and I cut mine like this. Some people just cut straight in the middle, but I found this to be a lot better for me. Just make a little cut in the middle of the ball cap, and then you just cut around the stitching of the ball cap, and then I make sure that it's cut really good. Right here I kind of messed up because I didn't cut it close enough to my ears, but just make sure that it's cut pretty close to your ears, and that when you go to cut it, it can just go back pretty easily like that. Yeah, period. And then you just cut off any excess lace that you might have around your around the perimeter of your edges, and just make sure that it's not touching your eyebrows. Please just cut it enough to where, you know, just trace the perimeter of your edges and to where it fits your actual hairline, because then this is where you're going to put the glue. This is where you'll put the glue and stuff like that. So you just want to make sure that you cut off any excess lace, not lace, but any excess ball cap that is around your hair. And then what you're going to do is you're going to find your foundation. Personally, for me, I like to use the Kiss Cream Foundation in my color. I totally forgot what color this was, y'all. But I will put it down in the description for anybody who's wondering, want to know. And then you're just going to take, you know, get your brush or whatever you use, and you're going to take it and you're going to dab it into the foundation, and you're going to put it around the lace, not the lace, you're gonna put it around the stocking cap, and make sure that it's in your color, because you really want this to blend. For me personally, I like to get a foundation that is a little bit darker than me, because for some reason when I use the foundation that's either my color, for me it doesn't look right. It looks too light for me. So I like to get a foundation that's a little bit darker than me so that it blends in pretty well. And then you're going to take some alcohol and just make sure that the makeup isn't around the ball cap or isn't on your skin. And then this way, when you're going to put down the glue, it's not like greasy or it's not like muddy with like any foundation or anything like that. Because you want, when you go to lay your glue down, you really want it to be like a clean surface. And then I just dab the glue around my head, dab it all the way around the perimeter of the ball cap, and then you're going to take whatever you have, like the end of a comb or whatever you might use. I know some people like to use a popsicle stick, and you're just going to make sure that you blend the glue down. Like I like to do mine in a downward motion so that the ball cap is like sticking to my head. And then you just want to make sure that you blow dry it really, really well. Usually this takes me like 30 minutes because I really want to make sure that it's like really dry, because you want it to look clear. You don't want it to be white or too white and too just, you know, you want it to be sticky, but you don't want it to be white, because like I said, it can get really messy. And then you just want to make sure that when you're installing your wig to your forehead, that the edges of the wig match the edges of the perimeter of your hair, because you don't want your wig to be crooked or laid to one side of your hair. And then what I like to do once I have the wig on my head, I like to put just a little hair wig band around it so that it stays in place. And then a lot of times when people do this, they usually go ahead to customizing the wig, and customizing as in plucking your hair, you know, and making sure that it's not bulky looking, because you want your wig, even though it's a wig, you still want it to look realistic. So what I do is I just go in and I pluck the scalp of it so that it's not too thick of a hairline, and it's not bulky looking, so that when I go to put the hot comb on it or even to like flat iron it, that it lays and it gives that flat look, like that flat look that we all love to see, because I hate wigs that look bulky and big at the top, especially on me. It doesn't look right. It makes my head look ginormous. So yeah, and then a lot of times I use the wax glue or wax stick to, like, when I go to use the hot comb, that it stays, all the hair and the little flyaways stay in place. Take her higher, higher, fly about the valley in the fire. Train her feet for running, show her every door and how the windows let the sun in. Copy out the key and tell her this is for becoming. Even in the fever, baby, cry and get to running. And tell her that you better get your bootstraps up. You're with the army, ready when the truth act up. Nothing can harm me. Yelling from the roof, I touch, put up a guard and
count to 10. Lions den, speaking with the higher pen. Can't be touched by fire then. Fast forward to the grown things now. I'm working on them soul things now. Forgiving all your old ways.
And then once you have customized it however you would like to customize it, you're just going to take the wig band off and make sure that you really flat iron or hot comb around the perimeter of your edges, because you also want those to be flat as well. And then you're gonna take eyebrow, cleaner. I don't even know what that's called, y'all. Eyebrow cleaner, eyebrow archer. And you're just gonna cut the lace. Make sure that when you're cutting the lace, you do it like in a zigzag motion. You don't just cut it like in a straight line, because then it's not gonna look realistic, and it's gonna look like you just have like an oval shaped hairline. You don't want it to look like that. Like I said, you want your wig to look realistic as possible. And then any where that your lace is lifted up, you can add a little bit more glue and make sure that it's laying down and it's flat the way you like it to, and then just blow dry it just for that extra security. Something else that I like to do is I like to go in with the spray, the Ebin spray, and I just like to spray around all the places that I had to put more glue, or even like to do the whole perimeter over, because I really want my lace to be laid and to melt. I really want that melt. And then just put the wig band back on to hold it down and in place. And then sometimes I even like to use my blow dryer to like make sure that it's staying. But y'all, look at that. Period. And then make sure y'all just put a little foundation, because you don't want your lace to have that white cast. Because I didn't bleach the knots on this wig. I just kind of like took it right out the pack and installed it, because I didn't have time to try to bleach the knots and wash the hair and all that. I just took it right out the pack and I put it on my head. But it looks good, y'all. Period. And then right here, for those who don't like baby hairs, you can just stop right here. But for me, I love a good baby hair, and I prefer to do mine because I feel like it looks better on me. So this is where I just go in and I use my tweezers to pluck around the hairline so that my hairline isn't like so thick with hair and it looks like realistic baby hairs, because you don't want your baby hairs to be super thick unless you like it that way. But for me, I like mine to look a little like wispy, if that makes sense.
And he paid me to things I used to do that I shouldn't do. All of them he took. Now I lift my eyes to the sky like it's 4th of July. So I'm good, even live my life for the Adonai. Yeah. I'm good, 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 I'm good.
And then I like to dab just a little bit of foundation so it blends in. If you're like me, y'all, it takes me forever to do my baby hairs on a wig, because I like them to look really good, and I think I'm a perfectionist when it comes to doing my baby hairs, because I just want them to look really good. And then you're just gonna take your edge, the flat iron that you use for your baby hairs, and you're gonna just flat iron them and curl them to make sure that when you go to use like your mousse or whatever edge gel you might use, that it lays pretty good and you get that curl, because I like my baby hairs to curl.
Now listen, daughter, pay attention, pray and listen, hear your father.
But right here, y'all, I was messing up because I didn't put enough hair. I didn't bring enough hair down. And that's one thing with baby hairs. Make sure that it's better, it's better to add a little bit of baby hairs rather than just pulling out a lot, because you can always add, but you can't necessarily just take away. So I like to add a little bit, and if it doesn't look right, then I'll just go back in and change it like I had to do here. I had to add more hair because I didn't like how it looked. I was trying so hard to get it to curl, y'all, but it just would not do what I wanted it to do. And at this point, I was just like, okay, whatever. But in order to make my baby hair stay though, because I really don't like the fluffy baby hair look on me, so I just take a little bit of spritz and I put it at the end of my rat tail comb, and I just like kind of like pat it in or comb it into my edges so that they stay. And here's me adding more baby hairs because I just could not for some reason get it right. Doing your baby hairs is very tedious. Like it takes time, y'all. Like I'm still not like perfect at installing wigs, but I tried.
You are all I need. Once upon a time the mustard tree was just a seed. Grow my faith, oh Lord, and show me what is heavenly. Jesus, you're the truth, it doesn't matter how I feel. Whoa. I don't wanna be far from you. You're the air I breathe, you're the air I breathe. Help me abide.
So for this side, I'm just going to be doing the exact same thing that I did for the other side. I'm not going to really go into too much detail and explain it. You guys can just see what I'm doing and watch as I do it.
Show me where you are, cause life is so uncomfortable while I'm here in the dark. I walk the narrow path for you, but faith is just so hard. Pride is still my poison, but oh Lord, you know my heart. Praising God no cost, so help me use it as a weapon against the fallen one. Your grace is so much greater than all the sin I've done. You so loved the world that you gave your only son. I don't wanna be far from you. You're the air I breathe, you're the air I breathe. Help me abide in you. I don't wanna be far from you. You're the air I breathe, you're the air I breathe. Help me abide in you.
And this was the finished product. Thank y'all so much for watching my video, and I really hope that you guys will tune in next time. Bye!